Let's play quietly. Hey everybody, this is Brian here from Let's Play Quietly, and I am going to be talking about another one of the SEGA Genesis Classics collection, E-SWAT City Under Siege, which is a 1990 side-scrolling kind of shooter slash beat-em-up hybrid where you play a police officer who is given some basically like a mech suit in order to fight crime in the city that is being overtaken by this sort of high-tech gang. Now the irony of the gameplay is that I never actually got to get the suit, because you don't get the suit until after the second level. And so here real quick, I'm just making sure that I know the controls. Some of these games are actually using the 6-button SEGA Genesis controller, but this one just uses 3 buttons, but I did give myself 5 lives, which it turns out I absolutely needed. So basically in this game, you start off as a police officer by the name of Duke Oda, and you are part of this SWAT team, and you become a member of the Cyber Police force. There's a group called EYE, which is basically a high-tech gang that's taking over the city. And as you can see, you start off as sort of a regular police officer here with a revolver. And that's pretty much what you're going to see me use in this game, because I did not make it to the end of the second level, which is where you actually get the mech suit. So the thing that struck me initially about this game is that it is very reminiscent to me of Rolling Thunder, which is one of my favorite side-scrolling sort of shoot-em-ups. It reminded me a lot of that game. This game has a little bit of verticality to it, although you're not really seeing it yet. But you have 4 life bars, as you can see, and I have the single-shot gun that is really not that effective, but I keep trying to aim diagonally here, which is why you see me stop at some points, because I'm trying to see if I can aim diagonally. You can't, so you can only aim straight ahead or straight up. So here is me foolishly trying to shoot the guy above me, when what I really needed to do was just make my way right past the bullets. It's more of like like a Super Mario fireball pit, and you just gotta get by it. So these little drones up here shoot off rockets that you have to take out, and those guys that are coming after me, I think they actually have machine guns, and if you let them sit there long enough, they'll sort of get together and gang up on you. So I'm simultaneously trying to clear the bottom level and the top level at the same time. Now in this game, much like a lot of these type of games, you'll make it to the end of the level and there's a boss fight. And I actually do end up making it to the end of this level, but there's a lot of repetitiveness here. The other thing I kept trying to figure out, which is why I'm jumping all the time, is if I could do like a diagonal long jump, and you can't really do it. And I was using the analog sticks of the Xbox One controller, when of course the SEGA Genesis gamepad had a D-pad. So it was a little bit difficult to make some of these jumps. The other thing that you'll notice here is that, you'll notice that I died right there because I didn't realize that you could fall off that easily. So that's exactly what I did. The level here is very simple, as you can see, but I kind of like the purple skyline in the background against the foreground of the different building structures that you're sort of hopping across. So each time that I have to go through this level, I sort of figure a little bit more out. And clearly what I need to do is get to the end and then start making my way up the building. So it's kind of a 2-phase level where you side scroll to the end and then you have to make your way up. So whereas Shinobi, which is a game that is a little bit similar to this, you were much more sort of quick and agile. It might look like Shinobi, but I didn't feel like the controls were anywhere near as smooth here. This is another guy that I have to try and make it across, and I did that time, although that was the long jump that I was trying to make, and I just could not make it. So there's a little bit of repetitive sort of frustration here as I go through. You'll notice that I picked a power-up with some extra bullets in it, and I'm not even sure what that menu at the bottom is. I'm assuming that there's different weapons that I can pick up, or maybe a spread shot or something like that, but I never figured that out as I was going through. So here, what I didn't even realize is that I've almost made my way back to the end of the level. In fact, this is where you start the actual level. And I end up getting myself killed here, I believe, because I had no idea how to get past these guys. I think I tried to jump over them, and I just got myself killed. Oh yeah, there you go. So, and much like Decap Attack, you're sort of starting out at the beginning of the level again if you screw up, so there's no halfway checkpoint that I get to start over with. So it's a good thing that I actually had 5 lives, because it took me long enough to beat this level and get through it, and I think I only ended up having 1 life left, so yeah, that sliding guy, you only see him once on this level, and I can hardly even tell what's different about his appearance. He almost looks like he's made out of metal or something like that, but this power-up, I wasn't even sure what it really did. It's not an extra life because I just picked it up and I didn't get one, so again, trying to make the jumps without getting hit. I make it up there, and now I realize I have to go up as opposed to, although I keep trying to think that I have to make that diagonal jump, but in reality, I just have to jump straight up from where I am. So once again, I'm kind of trying to figure things out, and it takes me a while. Now, like I said, eventually in this game, even though you won't see it, you pick up this power armor, which is called the Ice Combat Suit, and then you get extra weapons. So my guess is that the menu at the bottom is for those extra weapons. Maybe you are able to toggle between them. And if people are interested, I could always try and do another episode of this where I get farther than I got this time around. But you will get to see the boss battle here. So I finally figure out that I need to start going up in a second after I try to make that jump like 15 times. And realize that I'm never going to make it. So, I thought it was interesting that this game gets compared to Shinobi, because Shinobi, to me, is one of the best playing games on the SEGA Genesis. The Revenge of Shinobi or Return of Shinobi. I'll play that one because I know that it's part of this collection, but that game is much more fluid and you attack quicker, the combat is much smoother. Here is just like an infinite loop of me trying to make a jump that I haven't figured out yet, so. But trust me, eventually I will get over to the left and I will start scaling up the side of the building. These enemies respawn as soon as you leave the eyesight of where they were, so I keep making my work harder for myself because I keep scrolling away from these guys, and then they respawn again and again. Finally, I made my way up, so I figured that out. Now their weapons are getting a little more complicated, but we're getting closer to the end of the first level here, so these guys are just a timing-based thing. But we're so used to having like a sprint function on most of the games that we play nowadays that I kept clicking in the analog stick one controller, and the one that I'm using is a third-party controller. It's definitely not as responsive as I want, so here we go with the boss battle. So now we have a chopper that you'll see in a minute fires like a burst of shots right there, and I have to take the chopper out. And I'm getting very nervous because I haven't really hit it yet, and I'm just expecting it to kill me at any moment. But I have full life, so there's one shot of life taken off. I get it a couple more times, at least it doesn't hurt me when it flies by me. But again, right there you see it shooting off screen, so I had no idea when the attacks were coming half the time. So I'm just shooting blindly, hoping that I hit it. And hoping that I get it before my life runs out, and I in fact did. So that was the boss of the first level. You take the boss out, and then you get the level clear screen. Now, as I mentioned, you don't even get the suit in this level here, but I've been promoted to chief now. So apparently the police chief is the one who goes and infiltrates the cyber prison. And this is another level that, unlike a lot of side-scrolling platformers, is a lot more vertical than it even looks at first. Like here, you're able to jump in rooms and you're sort of in the background of the level almost, which I think is kind of a cool effect. But what it took me a few minutes to figure out is that that platform that I rode in on can move all throughout the level. Those enemies right there are cool because they're almost like the wrecking crew. The guys swinging the wrecking ball around. So here I still haven't figured out like how to navigate this place, and that's a wall that I keep shooting at, so I'm not even hitting that guy. Finally I realized that I had to come back out. And the green area in between each cell is actually a track that those little platforms run on. And so when I finally figure that out, you'll see that I can use it to move throughout the level. But what was interesting about this level is that it's not at all clear like where you're supposed to go. You could travel all around it, but I wasn't clear like where it wanted me to be, because when you go in some of those cells, it is just a dead end. So I'm trying to make my way back here so I can get myself a platform to ride on. And now that I have it, I'm trying to navigate some of these tracks. And it still takes me a couple minutes to figure out that I can go anywhere other than back and forth. So here I am trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do. But there's nowhere to go. And then it finally dawns on me. Oh, I can actually move this thing up as well. There we go. So now you're seeing different cells that you could possibly go into. There are other bad guys that are sort of riding on platforms as well. And then you saw that little turret there. That will also destroy your platform or cause damage. Now the good thing is, falling does not cause damage as long as there is a bottom area to the level. Like I could fall off the building in the first level, but here you don't take any additional damage. Of course, I got myself killed right there. And now I'm on my last life. So, spoiler alert, I do not make it through this level, but this is definitely a game I'm going to spend a little bit more time with because I had fun with it. And now that I know that the levels are kind of non-linear, I have a better feel for the second level. I want to go back into it, especially since I know the mechanics a little bit more. But E-SWAT is a game that I did not play a lot of when I had my original Sega Genesis, but I'm kind of sad that I didn't because it's a lot of fun. So I hope that you are enjoying these retro videos, and I've gotten a few suggestions, but I am always welcoming more. I think I'm going to play an RPG at some point and do multiple episodes, but that's going to wrap it up for this one. So if you like this video, then please click like and subscribe to our YouTube page, and I will of course be back again soon with more retro games. There's a lot of games in this Sega collection, and all of them that are worth showcasing I think I'll probably do an episode on. So I appreciate the feedback that I've gotten so far, and I'm definitely going to be doing more. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon.